Alright, sorry about that. I was having some issues with VMs. One of the problems is I have a 4K screen and I didn't take that into account, so when I load it up, the text is about yay big. So trying to fix that just before the stream started and managed to get that sorted, but I have an issue with my VirtualBox. Sorry, not VirtualBox, VMware Workstation. So if anyone has any idea to this, I would love to know. Where the keyboard just doesn't work sometimes. I have to stop and start it several times to eventually get the keyboard working. So apologies about that. But yeah, thanks to those who have joined. I see there's a few of you in the channel. Yeah, thanks, AppSec bloke. I'm not an authority on the matter. Definitely not. Yeah, so hopefully this is all working out. Hey, AppSec. It's just trying to test out the stream. I've got some cameras and lights and that, so see how it all works out. And I thought one of the topics I could cover is just going over how I set up a Kali instance, and there's some of the things that I do. So what I have here is a bog standard Kali instance. One of the first things you should really do is make sure you do an apt update. Once you do that, figure my password right. probably didn't. I seem to have a habit of entering my password wrong multiple times these days. So yeah, just do an app update, and then I normally do a full upgrade just to make sure all the packages are updated. So that shouldn't take long. There we go. And now if we do a sudo apt full upgrade, this one I'll go and update all the packages. Kali has packages almost on a daily basis, so you got to make sure you got to kind of stay on top of it and keep it up to date as much as possible. You know, if you haven't used Kali in a while, when you suddenly do this and you've got like over 200-300 packages that need to be updated. So while that's doing that, I normally also go change things like remove some of the things that I don't use often. So these are the kind of things that I remove. It's obviously going to very much depend on yourself. If you're doing things like Metasploit and that, you're going to use that quite often leave that there. But because I mainly do web-based testing, I don't really use Metasploit all that often. And what else you can do is come in here and select whatever one, and you can actually add it to your favorites there. So there we go. That's updated. I also do a auto remove just to remove any kind of older packages that may no longer be needed, just to keep things clean. So that's my update done. One of the other things I do is I go into the preferences for the terminal. I find this maybe a bit too small, and I change this out to 30. 120 columns and 30 rows. It just makes it a bit nicer. So yeah, make sure you do that on the default one. So if you have a look now, when I open up again, you can see it's a little bit larger. What I am using here is Gnome. The later versions of Kali do come with XCFE. I think that's right. The X one, as well as KDE. I generally install all three because I like to play around. I know others prefer the XFCE because it's kind of cleaner and less resource intensive. I like looking at pretty things, so I stick with Gnome. And there's quite a few things I actually do with Gnome itself, just to make my experience a little bit better than just having the bog standard thing. Obviously, if you're spinning up new Kali images all the time, that's probably not going to be worth it. Or you can automate it. So one of the other things you'll notice here is this is the old version of Burp Suite. The newer version of Burp Suite, how you can recognize, it's got a kind of a bluey green logo now. So that's one of the things we want to do is apt remove Burp Suite. Because what we're going to do is actually download the new version of Burp Suite. And I probably got my password wrong again. Yep. I should actually change my password so I can actually type it in properly. Nope. There we go. So that will now move Burp Suite. We can just actually remove that, and we can actually go to Portswigger. Best is probably just search for Burp Suite, or you can go directly to Portswigger if you know the address. But I don't. We want to download the community edition. The pro version is absolutely fantastic. So if you do want to do things like bug bounties, or if you're actually an organization that's willing to pay for it, I highly recommend the pro version. The pro version has loads of cool things. So for example, with the pro version, you can actually do scanning of websites, automated scanning, so it'll try to detect things like SQL injection and cross-site scripting and all that kind of stuff. And there's a few other things. One of the other quite useful features is the ability to save projects. You can't do that with the community version. And one of the other things that's quite useful is the ability to search across basically all the requests, and that again you can't really do that with the community edition. But the community edition is still pretty good. So I install it with root privileges. One of the reasons why I do this is because then the embedded browser generally tends to work a bit better. So you're going to have to just give it executable permissions on this file because it's a script, and I'll run it with this. And then it will start up the installer. You can just go follow the instructions. Basically, just go next, next, next. And away it'll go. And there's a bluey green icon that I was referring to before. The later version also has really cool stuff. So you can also launch a browser from Burp itself. So you don't have to do all that configuration with like certificates and all that kind of stuff. So there we go, done that, just clean it up. So you probably, if you're like myself, you're probably installing Burp, so you want to add it to your favorites. All right, so that's Burp now installed. Once you're in Firefox, one of the other things I do is install this cool tool called Proxy Omega. So if you just search Omega, I use this to allow me to switch between a proxy or go direct connection. You can actually set up multiple proxies. And yeah, so you can set up profiles. Oh, I don't know why I went through that, but you can rename it. So I'm just going to rename it Burp. Here, change this to localhost. Keep it at port 8080. One of the other things I want to do is I'm just getting the link quickly for this. So I created a GitHub repository. I'm just getting it quickly. Excuse me for one sec. Well, I'll find it. I'll get you here. So I created this repository that contains a Barpass list. The idea behind this is often that things like Burp or Chrome or something, they have a lot of noise and fluff that they create that can just fill up your Burp Suite logs quite often. So if you add these to the Barpass list, that means that won't appear in your Burp logs, and it just keeps things a bit cleaner in your Burp. So you've done that, you can apply it, and then how you use this is you can just go like that system proxy, so that would be whatever your OS is configured, or you can just go direct, so no proxy, or use Burp. Because we're not running Burp again, there's one other tool that I like installing. It's called Firefox Multi. I really battled to find this the other day. I think this, there we go. For some reason, I found that if you try to search for this extension in the Firefox add-ons, it didn't really find it. So I just do a Google search and it seems to find it better. Now, the cool thing is this is actually by Firefox itself. And what it allows you to do is have separate containers, which literally are like little sandboxes. So you can have multiple sessions within the same browser. So what I would normally do is actually get rid of, I'll go and clear some of these containers because I don't need them all. Let's clear that. I just only really need one if you're going to test, or you might have different ones for different users or something, but you can call it, I'll just call this new session or something like that. And you can change icons and colors and all that good stuff. So what this means is if you log into your site here and then you open up this new container, this will be an entirely new container. So all the session cookies and that will be pertinent to this container. So it's a good way to test the site if you want to test with different users and compare results in that. You'll still be going through Burp, but you can test with different users because they're essentially isolated. It just makes testing so much better and easier for that. All right, so the other thing with Burp is once you start it up to you if you want to provide that feedback. And then, yeah, these are the things I was talking about in the Pro version. You can have projects. You can go next and start Burp. Now, because Burp's an intercepting proxy, you're going to have to import the CA. Now, you can actually just go ahead and click off the browser. So if you come to the proxy and go open browser, this will open the browser that's now configured all with Burp. I think it's using Chromium for this, so if you rather use something like Firefox or something like that, then you can configure Burp. So the first thing we're going to have to do is import the certificate. The reason being, if we go enable that, and so we'll go to www.google.com. You see you're going to get a certificate issue, and this is because Burp's intercepting it and it's signing in with its own CA. So we need to import the CA into Firefox. So you can do this just by going to Burp itself, 8080, and you can download the CA certificate there and save file, save it. You can also get the certificates. So if you go into options, and then import export certificate in the format, give it a file name, and away you go. But this way is just generally a little bit easier. So once you've done that, you want to import it into the certificates. So certificates, and you want to import it as an authority because Burp Suite will be signing any certificates to intercept. Because we're only doing with websites, just select that one and go OK. So if we come back here now, we can see it's all working. And if we actually go view the certificate itself, you can see that the certificate is now signed by Portswigger, which is Burp Suite. And away we go. So all good. So now this is ready for using, and you can actually should be able to see the history there. And away you go. Another cool thing with Burp, dark mode everything. Obviously this is personal preference, but yeah, you can change that to dark mode. So that's what I do there. Now, a final touch that I do, and this is really probably something that I imagine that it's going to be totally up to you. So changing things like desktop backgrounds, not icons, desktop backgrounds. You can change things to, I don't know, different backgrounds. Obviously import your own. And then you can also change themes. So this is only going to be useful if you're using Gnome. But what I have here is some like icons. So if you go into, I think it's local user, local share, and then I think if you make a directory here called icons, what I'm going to do is copy all these icons into a directory here. Oh, did that not work? There we go. And if I copy star.tar, xz. Oh, no. Sorry, I meant to actually go into icons. Copy them there, and then minus xv. Won't do that. I don't know if I can do them all at once. exit. I think I can. Ah. Not X. Don't know why. XF. Sorry, I'm getting myself mixed up here. Okay, so you can't do. Just give me some examples. And let's do Maya. Okay, I'm just gonna clean up the rest. Tar. Remove these ones that I accidentally created. Cool. So that's that. So those are icons. And then I don't know if that's got themes. Nope. So if you create a .themes folder in your home directory, I've already got this here that I have basically got a bunch of themes that I already have. So if I go here and tar minus xvf. Cool. So what I am looking for is tweak tool. This is Gnome tweak tool that you can start changing things. So you can change the appearance. Why is that not working? No. Why is it frozen on me? So yeah, you can change the look. So for example, this is your cursor, so you can change it there. You can change to the different icons. So you can make them nice snazzy ones like that. Inverse black is pretty cool, so like nice rounded ones. You can also change the shell, so something like that. I mean, all of this is like the theme of your window, and you might say this is unnecessary, but it's obviously going to be dependent on you. What I have here is this, which I think just makes it really nice to look at and use. Again, if you're not going to be using this all that often, or you probably going to rebuild it often, this might not be worth it. But if it's a kind of instance that you're going to stick around and use it, then it's nice to look at, and it doesn't take much effort. So where you can download these from is if you just search for Gnome themes. I forgot the store. Gnome themes. What up? Gnome look. There we go. Yeah. So if you come to Gnome look, you can then actually go and just browse through here, see which themes you like, and download them. So there is another tool that I also use that's pretty good. Test ssl.sh. So it's worth downloading this tool. There's normally a GitHub that you can go to. It's been a while, so you can download it. I normally clone it. There we go. So you can either clone it to a version or keep it on the main branch. Where's my terminal? So if, I don't know, if you just make a directory called like tools. And that copy. There we go. And this is like a pretty decent tool. There's SSL Lars and SSL Scanner. Both Mark and I, AppSec Bloke, will be doing this a stream on this on Thursday next week. But just to give you a taste, so you can go in there and run the test. I forgot I think it's -D against the domain that you want to run it, but there's all the options there. Okay, you don't, sorry, it's been a long time since I've run it. I'm just going to run it, say, against my blog. And off it will go and do all the TLS SSL tests. Hopefully it doesn't find anything too bad. Should be alright. I think I've got things configured as they should. And there are online tools such as Qualys SSL that you can use for this. But this is really great, especially if you've got internal systems that you want to test. It's a really great tool. And then I think there is different output from it. So yeah, you can export output in like JSON, CSV and that. So you could then potentially start automating things. And it's pretty cool. I forgot, there's a tool, I gotta remember. So there was a tool that I used to use. So I piped this to a tool that allowed you to basically generate HTML pages from the output. It worked pretty well. It was pretty nice. And yeah, and that's basically it. I do mainly pen testing, so really browser, Burp Suite, and how it looks are the important things to me. And then tools like Test SSL for doing SSL TLS checks. Yeah, so if you've got any thoughts or comments, would love to hear them, either now or on Twitter or when I post this video. So thanks for joining, and great to see this went kind of okay, and apologies for the start. I think I've got the technical issues sorted now, and have a great Friday, everyone. Catch you all later.